Joel Embiid's playing like an MVP again, but if things don't change, he's headed for another miserable playoff exit. How do we know? Philly's been amazing since the James Harden trade. Embiid's awesome, more depth than ever, all-star maxi. But when you look closer, there is a lot of easy W's on that schedule. And when they play the tough teams, it gets ugly. You'd imagine their path to the finals is, Knicks, Bucks, then Celtics. Well, against those teams, they're just 1-3. Since November 30th, Embiid has scored under 30 just twice, both against Boston. Philly has proven they are not good enough without a big change. But good news! ESPN's Brian Windhorst just said, the only contender I can confidently forecast will be aggressive is Philly. It can make multiple deals. Then Tim Bontemps chimed in. It will be shocking if Philly looks the same after the trade deadline. So what will they do? It's actually complicated. Philly has two paths. One, wait until the offseason, have over $55 million in cap space and sign any star they want. Or two, trade now and compete this year, but have to give up valuable assets. Well, one thing we do know, they cannot waste the best season of Embiid's career. A lot of people thought Nikola Jokic should have got MVP last year, but Embiid won it and looked like a fraud bounced in the second round while Joker won the chip. But this season, Embiid is shutting up those haters. Better numbers than last year. The only player ever to score at least 40 points per game on 60% shooting an entire month. Now, some people are saying he is better than prime Shaq.
This Embiid season, though, just quickly, holy so he's averaging 35 points a game. I think he's the best offensive center since Kareem. This version of Embiid right now is just a better player than Shaq.
Okay, wow. But is that actually true? But first, today's video is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy, which I play almost every single night for NBA and every other sport, just to have fun. Whether I win or I lose, I have so much more fun watching games if I've got some picks in Underdog. And my game to play is called Pick'em. You pick higher or lower for your favorite players, or just on the game that you want to watch that night, and you can up to 20x your money, but you always have fun. Speaking of which, I want to give you my two picks for tonight. First up is Kyle Kuzma. His points, we're going to go higher. Pacers are really bad against wings, and with Hallie out, I think it should be a closer game, so Kuz should play a lot. Next is Terry Rozier. We're going to go less than on his assists. He has gone less in the last 6 games and never hit 8 assists against the Kings in his career. Best of luck if you are tailing those picks. I've actually done decently here on the videos, not so much on the community post. But check this map to see if Underdog is available in your area. Always use the promo code AMHOOPS. It doubles your deposit, and it really helps out the channel. That is promo code AMHOOPS. Thanks again to Underdog. Embiid's game is dominant and versatile. Joel has those monster dunks, but range to the three-point line with consistent defense and playmaking. And when you compare their stats, Joel has the edge on points and assists, and so much more efficient. His true shooting is 65% because Embiid shoots threes and dominant at the line. Hack-a-Shaq was a disgrace, but that hot take is actually really stupid. First is comparing stats. Do you know how easy it is to score now versus Shaq's era? This year, there are 20 players scoring 25 plus per game. In 2000, there were 5. So Shaq scoring 30 points in 2000 was like scoring 50 now. Comparing stats over eras is so misleading. The other problem is playoffs. Shaq was more dominant in the biggest games. 4 chips, 3 finals MVPs. Embiid has never made a conference finals. If it wasn't for train wreck star teammates like Ben Simmons and James Harden, he'd be known as a big game choker. Harden got so much crap for that game 7 against Boston. What about Embiid? Dude scored 15 points with 8 boards and 1 assist. He shot 28% from the field. Did we ever think Embiid can't win the big game? For anyone to say Embiid is just a better player than Shaq is ridiculous. But all that changes with a championship. The Nuggets just proved you don't need a big 3. Just surround your MVP with elite role players and a shot-making point guard. And for Embiid, that is Tyrese Maxey. He's putting up career numbers on slightly less efficiency, which is expected with more defensive pressure. But Maxey has kept his turnovers about the same while doubling his assists. The only issue is defense. He's 6'1", and teams hunt him in crunch time, but Maxey can fight back. Here, DeMar DeRozan wants to get the switch with Maxey one-on-one. It works, but Tyrese hounds his man, stays in front of DeMar, and forces a tough shot and miss. But even if Philly has that 1-2 combo, what about the rest? Embiid and Maxey against Tatum and Brown? Okay, but how you gonna match up with Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, and Derek White? Embiid Maxey against Giannis Dame? Okay, but the Bucks rotation is so experienced. They need a change. Now, a lot of fans are excited about their cap space. Philly can add a max contract to Embiid and Maxey this summer, but the problem is cap space ain't what it used to be. I mean, last year, just one all-star changed teams in free agency, Fred VanVleet to the Rockets. But go back to just 2019, 7 all-stars flipped for cap space. Kawhi, KD, Kyrie, Kemba Walker, Jimmy Butler, D'Lo, and Al Horford. 4 of those were all NBA players. But now, 0 all-NBA players have signed in free agency the last 4 years combined. What happened? Well, cap space has lost its value for 2 reasons. First, teams are just too smart to lose a player for nothing. So if they sense that he's gonna leave in free agency, they just trade him to a team he likes. Second is the popularity of sign now, ask out later. Players realized, hey, I could just take this guaranteed money from my team and just demand a trade if I want out. For example, Damian Lillard signed a 2-year extension and then just demanded a trade out of Portland. James Harden picked up his player option, demanded a trade the next day. Both players never even had a chance to be free agents. So if Philly waits for cap space, they might have Paul George, LeBron, Siakam, Drew Holiday, DeMar DeRozan, or OG Anunoby. But they have to get lucky that one of these guys wants to leave his team and then chooses to play for them. Do you know how risky that is? Plus, how many more healthy Embiid seasons do they have? So for that reason, I think Philly makes a big trade instead. What player will they target? Well, it turns out their front office guy, Daryl Morey, explained exactly what they want, and it crosses out one huge name.
First off, they need to be pretty solid on both ends. Like, it's just, as you get into the playoffs, it gets very hard for your top guys to be elite one way. It has worked. It's very rare, though. The other thing would be we probably need them to have a playmaking, sort of connector, ball movement aspects. We are a little short on that, and it becomes more important in the playoffs.
Okay, so a two-way player who can also play make. That automatically cancels out Zach LaVine. He is elite, only on offense. I expect Philly to have 0 interest. The other name is Pascal Siakam. Reports say he is not a target, potentially because of his icy relationship with his old coach, Nick Nurse. But reporter Chris Haynes says they do have interest in DeJounte Murray. He is a two-way player, even if defense has dipped in Atlanta. He's shooting the 3-ball and can be a secondary ball handler with Maxey. So to get him, Philly needs a 3-way trade. DeJounte Murray, Clint Capella, and Otto Porter Jr. Raptors get Tobias Harris, DeAnthony Melton, the 2028 first from the Clippers, and the 2029 swap. And the Hawks get Siakam, a 2026 first from Philly, and the Sixers 2030 swap. And the key is draft picks. Not all picks are created equal, but the unprotected Clipper pick and swap are as valuable as it gets. The Raptors swap that for Pascal, plus they get a backup point guard in Melton. The Hawks part with DeJounte and Clint Capella for Siakam and a late first that Philly has. Okay, that would take a lot to happen, but it helps all 3 teams. Another star target for the Sixers could be Jeremy Grant. He is wasting his prime in Portland, and he checks every box that Daryl Morey mentioned. Or they could go the role player route, and I think the guys who check the boxes are Alex Caruso and Malcolm Brogdon. Both guys are the connector they're looking for and have two-way upside. So I strongly believe that Philly has to and will make a trade at the deadline. It is the only way to finally get Embiid to the finals and prevent his own trade demand later. Right now, they are in 3rd place, which is a lot better than what the Lakers can say. They're barely in a play-in spot. So not only do they have trade rumors, but their coach Darvin Ham could get fired for Doc Rivers.